Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to ALLATRA TV, live 6 degrees of connection. For those who join us for the first time, I would like to remind that ALLATRA International Public Movement has launched a unique global international project, which is called the Creative Society. Within this project, we ask people all over the world, how do they envision a creative and constructive society? Such a society where everyone lives in happiness and prosperity, and where everyone feels safe. Our main goal is to ask all humanity about their vision of creative society. And in order to fulfill the main goal, we decided to use modern technologies, to use the internet and the theory of 6 handshakes. The theory of 6 handshakes says that all people on Earth are connected through 6 or fewer social connections. We invite guests to our program, and they can invite their friends and relatives to participate. And the more people will pass the information about creative society, the faster it will be implemented. At the end of this program, we're going to ask our guest to share a name of a person that he would like to meet in the next live broadcast. So thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Christina, and my co-hosts for today are Monica and Julia. Welcome, girls. And Julia, you were our guest recently, and you have invited Elias to the broadcast. So could you please introduce our today's guest?
Yeah, hello, dear friends. It's my pleasure to welcome our today's guest, Elias Karevsky. Elias is an entrepreneur. He's working in tourism and real estate. Elias, welcome to the live broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you like about living in Iceland?
Well, hey guys. Well, first of all, thank you thank you guys for inviting me, and thank you, Julia, for point out to me. I'm happy to be here. Thank you. So your question is, you wanted to ask how it is to live in Iceland. What on what level? What is your specificity of, or what is your main question?
What do you like about living in Iceland?
Well, first of all, it is an open question. I think that Iceland. Well, I can say that Iceland is it's nice. It's well, it's I guess it's everything. I guess it's everything. I mean, we have a nice infrastructure, developed infrastructure. Education level is accessible, and it is high, and we have a supportive community. That's I think these are the main things that attract or help me live here, or attracted my parents to come here to Iceland.
And could you say something a little bit about yourself? So what do you do? Something, I don't know, what drives you in your life, or these kind of things? Something to, to introduce yourself to our guests.
Well, well, first of all, as Julia said, I'm an entrepreneur. I worked in tourism. We have a small family business called Paradise Iceland. It's a travel agency. And then I've been working on another project since 2018. It's 450. It's called 450 Real Estate. It's a real estate brokerage here in Iceland. Currently, today, now the tourist business is slow, and there is not much of work in this field. Currently, for this semester, I'm actually an assistant teacher in University of Iceland in mathematics. So, well, this is what I do, I guess.
And what do you like about your job?
Ooh, well, it's it's everything from character development, from character to skill development. It's you have this freedom to do things, but in order to utilize and facilitate this freedom, you have to you have to be involved in your character development, and you have to persistently and continuously do things in a disciplined manner. And I think this is for today's topic, I think this is something that we can discuss.
Okay. Well, to introduce you more and to show a little bit about the Iceland, I would like to ask the technical support to show some collages that we prepared for you. So can we see them on the screen? Yes, here we are. So Elias, maybe you can comment on the pictures that we can see right now.
Oh, well, here we have some pictures of festivals. Lower pictures are the festivals. Upper picture are just me and my friends doing some stupid things. The picture of 3 people in the left upper corner. It's one of my three very good and old friends here in Iceland, and we traveled this day, or a couple of days. We did a circle trip around Iceland, and behind us is a very famous waterfall called Goðafoss. And in the folk legend, in Icelandic sagas, we can read about this waterfall when one of our goði, a chieftain from the north, when he came to the parliament, to Alþingi in Iceland, and people decided to become Christians in 1000 AD. He went there on his way back from Alþingi. He was walking past this waterfall, and he threw away his hidden tokens in this waterfall, and therefore now it's called Goðafoss, or the waterfall of gods. Other pictures are, as you can see, we do some surfing in Iceland, which is quite bizarre. Not many people actually do this. And for the other ones, we have some festivals, and this is actually 3 pictures of festival. We see something that is called the Þjóðhátíð í Eyjum, and the first festival was celebrated in 1847. In 1847, I think, when Icelandic people got their first constitution from Denmark, because we were a Danish colony all the way from the 14th or 13th century. And this festival is still celebrated today. Well, but not this year because of the current virus situation.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Elias, for commenting on the photos. Well, indeed, Iceland is such an inspiring, interesting, and heartbreaking country, especially nature there. And also, we would like to ask you, do you know whether in Iceland there are some traditions that bring people together, that unite people, or maybe there are some living conditions that can serve as an example to other countries?
Oh, well, yes, we have nice traditions and set of things that we do on certain days, and we have Christmas is deeply embedded in society, where people gather together, they eat food, and they open presents. We have an Eastern holiday, Easter, where people actually do the same. They cook certain food, and this is actually what brings a lot of people together, and we behave in a certain pattern, and we eat similar things on these holidays. So I think these are one of the main traditions. Then it is actually a nice, an interesting thing to say, a very big tradition that is that Icelandic people follow here in Iceland. It's and it happened actually last weekend, I think. I think it was last weekend, or it's usually held in the middle of September, where Icelandic landowners and farmers they gather together, and these landowners, friends and family who live in the city, they come to the States and they help with the sheep gathering. And this is actually a very big thing in Iceland, where people gather sheep. It's a labor-intensive work, and we gather them in a big, huge circle with a sorting boxes where people come, and a lot of farmers in a neighboring area, and they sort out the sheep. And afterwards, after this is done, people will sit down and have a nice party, and they will eat nasty things. This is a very big tradition also to eat sheep's heads and some weird Icelandic things such as shark and other goodies.
So do you think that Iceland can be a good example to other countries?
Well, yes, sure, of course. Yes and no. Yes and no. There is in some fields, of course. Somebody can take a page of our book.
Yeah, thank you about telling us about tradition of gathering sheep. It was always for me a big question how they're doing that, even though I'm 6 years in Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, thank you. It was interesting even for me.
Yeah, it's actually a big thing because if we can imagine a big land, right? A big chunk of a fjord or a field, and on this chunk of a fjord or a field, we have a lot of farmers, and they just we don't have any. Well, sure, we have borders, we have border fences, but most of the time the sheep, they will run out and they will just roam out on the big mountains and fields just by themselves. And the sheep knows, because now it's getting colder, right? It's September, and the sheep knows it's getting colder, so they had to come down from the mountains, and there probably all of the sheep from all of the farmers that are actually marked by each and every farmer, they blended together, right? And we have to sort them out. And one farmer has to know which sheep belongs to this farmer, right? So this is a big thing that brings people together.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. In Iceland, there is Icelandic Association for Search and Rescue. Altogether, the rescue team has about 18,000 volunteer members, and they're not supported or paid for by the government. And this is a great example which shows that people want to help others. They don't do it as a job. What do you think? How important is to help others? And maybe you can tell us something about this. Maybe you have witnessed some examples when people were helping each other in Iceland?
Oh yes, well, of course. Especially in Iceland, we don't have a big organized or government-funded groups. Well, let's say, first of all, Iceland is a very sparsely populated country, right? It's hard to get an infrastructure somewhere in the mountains, but still, people visit the mountainous regions. We have beautiful places, nice places to visit, and there is a lot of things that can happen here. So I think our environment dictates the level of or the quantity of us helping other people. There is actually, I think, me being and working in tourism, this is actually a big thing, a big community that's of Icelanders just working or driving around. So we have big Jeep community, right, where just people, engineers, designers, they come together and they design a big car, right, for themselves, for tourists. Well, the car is not original, so we have to change this car in order to access some of our places here in Iceland. These cars, they break down on their way, and you actually don't have a supportive network of evacuators, okay, because simply just normal, let's say something breaks down on your way, we don't have a supportive network of services that we see in autobahns or in Europe. And of course, another person with the similar car, he has to go in this mountainous region and then pick someone up. So yeah, this is a big thing in Iceland on the well, especially on the roads. This is at least one example.
Yes, we've also heard that there are no orphanages in Iceland, and that means that Iceland has lived as one big family, and they don't divide between children. And as Icelander says, that all children are our children. And if we will take it on a global scale, how can we achieve unification of all humanity? And what can we do in order to make all people on Earth live as one big family?
Well, that's a big question, huh? Well, first of all, well, if you're asking my opinion, I think for all my life I've been living with this ideology that first of all, right, it's hard to unify someone if your books are not stacked, right? If your bed is not made. So first of all, and it is actually a topic that we don't see on the media, right? It's an execution or development of conscientiousness and self-discipline. Because if well, at least for me, if I want to help others, first of all, I would like to actually help myself. It's some would say it's a egoistic or narcissistic way of dealing with things, but I think well, for me, what helped me in my life is that to follow a noble path in a self-disciplinary manner. I think this is a topic actually that it is usually forgotten in schools or in media.
But what do you think, like, what unites all people on Earth? Like, from like inside, I don't know, the inner unification of all people.
For me, what helped me to connect with people in Iceland, in workplaces, in offices, is just striving to the same goal in a continuous, in a consistent, continuous and disciplinary manner. I think this is what helped me to deal with the chaos and uncertainty in the world, I guess.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And now let's move on to the second part of our broadcast. As we have mentioned at the beginning, in the ALLATRA International Public Movement, there is a project called Creative Society. The goal of this project is to find out how each person in the world envisions a society where every person would live in happiness. So, Elias, could you please tell us, how do you envision creative society? A society where you, your loved ones, and every person in the world will live comfortably and happily. So, what values you think should prevail in creative society?
Take a responsibility. Take a responsibility for your own action and face the consequences. I think this is this is at least fundamental thing that I've been thinking about on a personal level. Another thing that is actually an interesting thing that we can achieve with the technology well, at least in university, with the current situation, we have this COVID thing, right? And now we started to use a very interesting technologies like Discord or Slack to unite students in a one server, right? Where I don't know, 100, 300 people. This is just a simple example that I'm giving to you, right? Where people are united, and a lot of students, they communicate in each other. And with my view, as I see it now, if I compare this academic environment today with the current technologies that people, students, and professors and teachers are using, versus a couple of years ago where we had the simple, let's say, brick and mortar university, right? We can now adapt this concept to universities too. We have a normal store and we have a brick and mortar store. Now we have a brick and mortar university and non-brick and mortar. So the education now is mostly online. And what I see differences today is that more people, and it is magnified by actually a big amount, because more people are willing to participate in discussing some assignment on a Discord server, and this information, it is written, right? A lot of people, those who are not willing to participate in a conversation about some assignment or solve some assignment, even if they don't want to do that, they still can see the discussions and learn something from it in order to solve some exercises. And I think, well, it is, of course, it's a Pandora's box, right? It's a Pandora's box that we still have to let and see how it develops. Hopefully, I think this technological advances, hopefully they will bring us to a more efficient society where out of 1,000 or out of 10,000 people we could have one genius. Maybe tomorrow out of 1,000 people we will have two geniuses, right? Just because another genius didn't quit on his way to finishing his studies or on his path to be educated. This is
You're talking
interesting
about the technologies, but
mm-hmm.
I would like to hear, how do you envision the creative society, the happy society, you know? So what's your vision of it?
Well, sorry. Well, I think that's yeah. So I see it's. I think a society where each person on his own individual level will practice conscientiousness, where he will be reminded that conscientiousness is a noble path to follow. I think this is, and it is very hard. It takes tremendous amount of cognitive energy to be disciplined, and to wake up every morning to make your bed and these things. Well, at least for younger people or for young people. And I think this is actually an interesting topic that is not very covered by things we see in media or internet.
Thank you, Ilya. You already told us about a little bit about education, but speaking about creative society, how do you envision education in such a society, in creative society?
Well, creative things. Well, if we think that first of all, we have to define what a creative society is, right? And how do we define that? We can take some measures, right? And we can take that. Okay, so we have some set of things, and in these set of things we have some technological. Let's say we have a technological achievements that that improved the world or had a huge impact on the world, and then we have to compare all these things across all the spectrum of set, right? And we have to measure relatively what each of these things did to a society, and we have to compare it to all of the other things, right? And say we have this. I see a creative society, of course, where, let's say, bigger impact will have. We have a thing with more things with higher ratios, or maybe fewer things with a high ratio of impact. So this will probably be the equal thing. And of course, in a creative society, we have to, in order to maximize, right, the ratios of things that will have big impact on world, we have to make an environment suitable for that. Environment suitable for that, where each individual can consistently persist this goal. Because if we think of creative things, most of the things that had a huge impact on the world for the past 200, 300 years, it was a really a big random event. Most of the thing, right? Where an inventor really didn't mean to invent this certain thing to solve this certain problem. And what made him do this is probably his. Well, I do hope that it was his environment, that he was allowed to persist his goal in a long period of time, because this is what you need in order to you have to trial and fail for a very long period of time, and somehow magically, after thousands of failures, you will still have to not be nuts and frustrated and angry by yourself, or angry of people who are angry of him for him to doing this and fail so many times. So yeah, this is I think this is a thing that we have to allow people to do.
Yes, thank you so much, Elias, for sharing your vision of education. Indeed, it should be provided for every person on Earth. And now let's discuss the 8 foundations of creative society that are described in the article 8 Foundations of Creative Society and Stages of its Construction. These foundations were created by social surveys that were conducted in 180 countries around the globe and are based on the needs and answers on people. So right now we can see them on the screen, and I'm going to read them out. Human life, human freedom, human safety, transparency and openness on information for all, the creative ideology, development of personality, justice and equality, self-governing society. Elias, could you please choose one of the foundation which resonated with you the most?
Well, let's speak about human freedom. All right.
All right. So, technical support, could you please show us the second foundation, human freedom? Human freedom. Every human is born with the right to be a human being. All people are born free and equal. Everyone has the right to choose. There can be no one and nothing on earth above a human, his freedom and rights. The implementation of human rights and freedoms must not violate the rights and freedoms of others. So, Elias, why did you choose this foundation, and would you like to add something on it?
Well, first of all, I believe that this is a very important topic, because if we don't have freedom to decide and to act in our own way, a way which is not a way where we won't inflict the self-harm, just somebody else will do it for us, and we all see how history has showed us the specific way. But in order to have freedom, right? So the more freedom you have, and the more self-disciplined you need to be. So there is a trick to it, right? in order to facilitate and implement freedom, you have to be conscientious on your individual level. This is a very important thing to remember, I think.
Thank you, Elias, so much. And let's remind our viewers that right now we are going to ask our guest to name one person that he would like to meet on the next live broadcast. So can you tell us the person whom you would like to invite to the broadcast?
Well, yeah, there is. I have a friend from Austria that is a social media manager, and I think she would have something interesting. I hope she will have something interesting to say. Her name is Teresa, and I will contact her this week.
Thank you so much for sharing the name. We are looking forward for the next broadcast. And Elias, thank you so much for this interview and interesting questions. And my last question is, what would you like to wish to all our viewers and all people on Earth?
Oh, guys, I wish you a good day. First of all, I wish you a good day and happiness.
Thank you. Thank you, Elias, for being with us today. It was a pleasure to talk to you, to meet you. And I would like to say, dear viewers, if you would like to find out more information about the Creative Society project, please visit our website, ALLATRAunites.com. And if you would like to join the Creative Society project, go to our website, and at the top of the page, in the right corner, you will see the red button, Join Us, where you can choose your language and share your vision of Creative Society. And if you want to be our guest or a part of our team, please send us an email, which you can see on the screen right now. So thank you very much for watching us, and see you on our next live broadcast. Thank you guys for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.